Remember what this is about. So give me that emotion, give me what that feel. What does this give you? What does this feel like if you do a jump with your arms like that, considering what we're talking about? Okay? Good, don't talk it. We talk with our bodies. Yes? That's what dancers do for the most part. We can use our voices, we do. But we are. My name is LaMia, and I am the artistic director for Moving in the Spirit. Moving in the Spirit is a youth creative development program that utilizes the discipline and the artistry of dance to help young people with social-emotional health and emotional regulation skills. And we are coming across, I think we'll be here for 40 years coming up. We have this building, it's been here for 5 years, and it's a home. It is a home for us teachers, staff, and especially the students. This particular show will have a loose narrative, kind of based around my own experience, but more so a melding of different storylines, different people's reasons for being there. I kind of want to find a way to embody as many different ideas around what could cause someone to be unhoused within this show. When I was living nomadically, I like to call it, but I guess it would be technically homeless. But I was working a full-time job. I had just begun the position that I have now. Yeah, I pretty much lived like most people. I would get up. If I had my son with me at that time, I was splitting custody with his dad. And if I had him that day, I would take him to school around 7:30 in the morning. And then I would, go find some breakfast, go to work, do the things that I would do that day. What really kind of reminded me about my situation was in the evening when I'm like, where do I go rest? Where do I go take a shower tonight? And so at the time, I did have a gym membership. I won't say which one, but it's open 24 hours a day. And that was very useful. I would shower there, do whatever I needed to do and be able to sleep in my car in the parking lot, which is where we are now. And that would pretty much be my day. I mean, that in the evening time, I would try to keep my phone charged in my car and, that kind of thing. And try to feel as safe as I could, not really knowing what was around me, who was around me. Not sure if police would come around and try to move people or whatever else. So that would be where my evenings would pretty much go.
I was shocked to find that that's only the tip of the iceberg, that there's this whole world of homelessness that is out of sight and it's invisible. And really, I wouldn't say it's just invisible. It's been made invisible. People have been pushed out of sight because we as a society, I think, don't want to ask the really hard questions about what makes people homeless, that it's not their own personal choices.
Right.
It's a societal thing. It's structures and systems. So there's all, tons and tons and tons of people, especially families with kids, who are homeless in these awful hotels, extended stay hotels, who are homeless in shelters, who are homeless in their cars. You go to a Walmart parking lot some nights, a 24-hour Walmart, and you will see minivans running the air conditioner all night, or the heat, depending on the time of the year, and there are kids in there. And in the morning, they're trying to use the bathroom in Walmart to get ready for school. So I was shocked to find that there's this entire world of homelessness that we're not seeing.
Hidden in plain sight almost, right?
Hidden in plain sight, yeah. And these are people who are serving us coffee in the morning, who are checking out groceries, who in some cases are working at daycares, teaching your kids in school. So these aren't people on the fringes of society. These are the people whose work, whose labor is actually making our whole city work. It's making our city run, and yet they don't have this most basic human necessity, a place to live.
was still working my way into this position, and so I really wasn't making as much money as I'd hoped. I had another job working at a grocery store. I mean, I don't know if anyone knows much about the income, what is it called, the base rate that you get. It's not a lot, 15 an hour. Not a lot when you have a child, when you're a grown adult, when you're paying astronomical amounts of rent. I realized I need to make a very tough decision because I cannot struggle to pay rent, have debt that I need to pay off, or a car note that I need to pay off, things like that. It just didn't make sense for me to get my life back on the right track and be paying like thousands of dollars in rent that I really didn't have.
And sometimes we see people who are unhoused and they clearly are dealing with mental health issues or addiction issues, but what we don't realize is that often that mental illness or that addiction is actually the consequence of being homeless, the consequence of having insecurity. It's not the reason for that homelessness, it's a consequence of it. And so if you or me, we're dealing with this kind of insecurity day in and day out, where you are working and it's not enough, you might start to crack a little bit too. And so that was so hard to see, especially with the kids and especially with teenagers. They were dealing with this thing that public health researchers call toxic stress. And that is stress that is so chronic and so debilitating that it can literally rewire your brain and rewire your future.
What affected me the most about that experience was seeing so many other people in that situation. I think that's why I struggle sometimes to even categorize my experience as being homeless, because I was seeing people here, the same people every time that I had to be here. And it made me wonder if, because I had other places I could stay for that time. And I thought, do these people have other places they can stay? Do they have friends? Do they have family? I remember even driving back here, still seeing those same people, exact same cars. And I oftentimes wanted to ask them, what their situation was. I never did. And I still to this day, I'm very curious about one particular woman who would always get out of her car and cover her windows with these black trash bags. She kind of had a ritual I would see her do every night. And it just really reminded me, people are put in these situations and they have whole stories, they have whole journeys that got them here, and you can only hope that they have a journey out. But it's heavy on my heart, and I really believe that highlighting this is important, that we don't just overlook the situation, and that not everyone is there because they did something wrong or they're incapable of getting a job or even holding a job. It's very complicated.
There were so many times where people just showed up for their neighbors in miraculous ways. People who had the least to give themselves were giving the most. It wasn't the wealthiest people who were giving the most. It was those who already were strapped for resources themselves, and they were the ones who were showing up at midnight to bail someone out. They were the ones who were showing up with a box of tampons or whatever, a food card, whatever it was. And it was just incredible to witness that. But yeah, I think that there's something that will blow your mind that I'm about to say. The reason people are homeless is because they don't have homes, right? It's not because of drugs. It's not because of mental illness. It's not because of the weather. It's not because of anything except they don't have homes. That's why they are homeless. Now, all those other factors can be in the mix. Of course, it can make you more likely, including racism and domestic violence and all sorts of things. But if that's the reason people are homeless, the way people get out of homelessness, check this out, is by giving people homes, giving people housing. And so all the charity is awesome, but what people really need is housing. What people really need is a home, so they won't be homeless anymore. And that is something that is very hard to do as individuals. That's where, as they were saying, we as a country, we as a city, we as a community, a society, have to come together and decide no more. We are going to make this happen. Because if we have $100 gazillion to spend on 100 new fighter jets that are just going to sit in some hangar somewhere in case we go to war, surely we have enough money to give people this fundamental human necessity in the richest nation on the planet.
If I had to give advice to anyone going through something like this or having to consider going through this, I think everyone's situation is different. For one, there are some people that are trying to run away from abusive, relationships or households. There are people with multiple kids. There are people that don't have jobs or between jobs. There are people that are struggling with drug addiction or mental health issues, and so I feel fortunate those weren't my situation. And so I want to consider that, everyone has different reasons that they need to do something like this. Safety is key. If you have any way to protect yourself and keep yourself safe out here, do it. But the biggest thing for me was communication and community, and trust in my gut. When I realized I had to do this, I was very clear. I really didn't have a doubt about it. I knew that this had to be the way to do it. There really wasn't, I didn't have much of a choice. But I also felt very confident that I would be okay. Just being communicative and not being ashamed to ask for the help. So almost like a stick figure idea, like kind of thing. Right? One more time. Little run and hop, run and jump. Hop, run and jump with the go. And then shoot. No man is. Yes. Is an island. And then there's like a little beat after island. An island, click. Yeah. That's a wrap.